Okay, welcome in. This 32 and 32 series continues with the Winnipeg Jets. Last year they had a record of 52, 24, and 6. They had 110 points. When it came to home and away, they were 27, 11, and 3 at home, and they were 25, 13, and 3 on the road. So roughly about the same home and away. So it really made no difference for the Winnipeg Jets. And just to have 110 points on the season and just get to second place in the division just goes to show how stacked and how fantastic that Central Division truly is. I'll just take a look and see if they have any first round picks. They should have, but there's also a chance they could have traded their first round pick away as well, just like a lot of teams have, which seems like they do recently. Okay, so there's nothing there. From Vancouver. No. From Montreal. From Detroit and Boston. No. We're taking a look at that. They just had their own pick. They got that from Toronto. Don't mind me. Yeah, I don't see a whole lot with Winnipeg's name on it unless they drafted up really high or traded a pick earlier, because I'm already halfway through the draft and I haven't seen Winnipeg once. So there's a very good chance they could have just not had a first round pick to give up, or they possibly did trade it away to another team. But yeah, I'm going into the top 10 now and I still have yet to see Winnipeg on this list, and I don't think they had a high enough pick in the top 10 if they were the fourth best team in the league. So yeah, I don't think they had a pick at all. No, they didn't. Okay, so now that I've wasted about 40 seconds trying to find that, at least I can go back and take a look at the roster and see who's still there and who has left Winnipeg. So, take a look at their roster. Mason Appleton still has another year left to go on his deal, as does Morgan Barons. Both those guys, I'm sure, would love to get their contracts re-signed at some point. Kyle Connor has 2 years left to go on his deal. Nick Ehlers is heading into the last year of his contract. Now, over the past 3 or 4 years, there's been rumors about him being traded out and how he has such a bad contract. Well, now if you're the Winnipeg Jets, you either sign him long-term or you deal him. And then that conversation will be over. David Gustafson, he did resign, so he's coming back as a Winnipeg Jet. Alex Iafallo has 1 year left to go on his deal. Axel Johnson Jalaby, if that's how you pronounce his name, has signed a 1-year deal at $775,000. Kasperi Kaperi has 1 year left to go on his contract. The captain, I should say, Adam Lowry, has 2 years left to go on his deal. Sean Monahan has left Winnipeg. I believe he did sign with the Columbus Blue Jackets. Vladislav Nevestenkov is heading into the last year of his contract. Nito Niederreiter's contract did expire this past year, but he has signed a 3-year, $4 million contract. Cole Perfetti, that name rings a bell. He has definitely signed elsewhere. He's no longer a member there. Mark Scheifele, his contract did expire this past year. He did sign a 7-year extension worth $8.5 million. Tyler Toffoli has signed with the San Jose Sharks. Gabe Velarde is heading into the last year of his contract, and that takes care of the forward depth for the Winnipeg Jets. Now we'll take a look at the defense. Dylan DeMello, I don't think he's there. Sorry, he is there. He did resign. Brandon Dillon, this is where I got mixed up. He has left. Colin Miller, if I'm not mistaken, has resigned. Josh Morrissey has 4 years left to go in his contract. Neil Pionk is heading into the last year of his contract, as are Dylan Sandberg. Nate Schmidt, I believe, was traded away, and Logan Stanley is still there, so he has re-signed. So they really only lost 2 pieces on the defensive side of things. Laurent Brossoit has signed a 1-year deal, I think, with the Chicago Blackhawks, and Connor Hellebuck is still the main guy in net for the Winnipeg Jets. Now, when it comes to this season, the Jets should still be competitive. They've made the postseason. Going back to 2018, the only time they ever missed the playoffs was 2022. The furthest they ever got in the playoffs was 2018 when they got to the Western Conference Finals. 2019, they got bounced in the first round. 2020, they lost in the play-in round. 2021, they lost in the second round. As I said before, they missed it in 2022, and in 2023 and 2024, respectively, they lost in the first round. So they're pretty much turning into like the Western version of the Toronto Maple Leafs, where they can make the playoffs all the time, but they can't make a whole lot of noise when they get into it. And now, for this past season, obviously it was very disappointing. They would play the Colorado Avalanche in the first round, and that was a very high-scoring series. So the save percentage for both Hellebuck and Georgiev definitely weren't that great. The goals against average probably weren't that great either, considering Hellebuck won the Vezina Trophy. But the regular season and the postseason are two different styles of games. So you can have a fantastic regular season, but if you don't do well in the postseason, you're not getting very far. So I think Winnipeg should be very competitive. The only thing that's making me a little doubtful about them finishing back in the top three of that division is only because of the likes of the Avalanche and the Stars. I think those two are for sure a lock. And because of the crazy offseason that Nashville had, that they're going to be very competitive. I'd be very shocked if Nashville finished below Winnipeg in the standings. So I'm going to have Winnipeg as a wildcard team if they even are able to make it. And the only way they could make it is if there was a split between four teams in the Pacific and the Central Division. So it's going to be a dogfight. There's no question about it. It's going to be tough for the Jets to repeat the success they had last year, only because the teams around them have also improved. And it's going to be very not easy for them to get back to where they are. So I think they could be a playoff team, but it's like a 50-50 thing. If they can be as successful as they were last year, they could possibly finish in the top three. But I just think that the other teams that I have mentioned several times throughout all these videos are just as good as the Jets. Alrighty, that takes care of the recap for the Winnipeg Jets. As always, if you're new to this channel and you like this type of content, feel free to hit the sub button. I'd be very grateful and very appreciative. Until next time, and as always, take care.